My name is Stan Wasowicz, and I'm one of the co-founders of ScottyAI. And it's my absolute pleasure, right after your brunch, to talk to you about the end of the world. Before I do so, I'm going to see how sharp you guys are. Think fast. So what else? There we go. Good. Everyone's awake. I want to make sure. The end of the world as we know it. Why? Because AI is replacing human labor. Left and right, across all sectors, all industries, and all verticals. What does it mean for our industry? In our industry in particular, I predict that by 2028, all sourcers, screeners, interviewers, and admins will be completely replaced. That's because you're here, listening to this talk. Is that a bad thing? Personally, I think not. Because if you look at the current state of hiring, it's completely broken. On the one hand, we have employers. They are saying we cannot find, attract, hire, and retain talent. On the other side of the spectrum, talented people are saying that they cannot find jobs. Why is that? If we honestly look at the moloch that we've created in the middle, standing between talent and the people that are hiring them, it's inconsistent, it's unpredictable, it's biased, it's incredibly inefficient. Sorry to say, but it's us. Whether you're in-house, whether you're a vendor like me, whether you're a contractor like Paula, we have created a process that just does not work. And because of that, here are 3 truth bombs. Truth bomb number 1, neither candidates nor hiring managers really want to talk to us. They see us as a necessary evil standing between them and landing a job or making a hire. Secondly, yes, they're nice to us because they want us to prioritize them over other candidates or other hiring managers. But if they can find something that's cheaper, faster, better, they will quickly move over to that. And I'm convinced that that something is AI. Something that's extremely predictable, extremely fast, extremely efficient. Something that's recently, in the healthcare sector, shown to have more empathy than healthcare professionals. Google it. But don't take it from me. Because I'm just a vendor here, pitching a product, right? So instead, please put your hands together and take it from Paula from PostNL, our customer.
Great.
There you go.
Thank you for the introduction. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how PostNL, so PostNL is the National Postal Service in the Netherlands, how we have implemented Scotty into our process to be able to, to pre-select more efficiently and to schedule candidates within 5 minutes of their application. So my name is Paula Frese, as you can see. And I work at PostNL as a senior specialist in recruitment process. And I'm responsible for all the recruitment processes within the Netherlands for all the different target audiences. So corporate as well as operational, as well as graduate and interim hire as well. So our biggest challenge was why we needed to rethink our approach is because we're actually all fishing in the same pond. The competition is fierce. We were too slow, to be quite frank. And also ghosting. Like people were, well, this must sound familiar to you. They were ghosting us. So at some point in the process, we were thinking, right, we need to do something about this because why are people ghosting us? And actually, it's because we were too slow. So our competition, they were there straight away, within a day, get in contact and actually schedule interviews. Thank you very much. Interviews into their agenda. So they had a certain type of bonding already with that company, and we were missing out. So what we needed was speed, obviously. So we wanted to be able to contact candidates immediately and want to keep them engaged. Also bonding, so by quickly scheduling something into your calendar, you know us already, right? So you've heard our name, you've got an interview scheduled, and that creates a certain type of connection with the company. We wanted to be more efficient. Who doesn't? So we wanted to automate repetitive tasks that recruiters were doing. And we wanted to enable them to focus on the qualitative interviews that they were doing with our candidates. And of course, cost effectiveness. Not the main reason we were doing this, but a nice side effect. So Charlie is actually what we called our digital recruiter. And we set out some targets for Charlie when we got started. So we wanted to achieve a great candidate experience. We wanted to be super quick because we found that that was the key to success. We want to reduce ghosting, which we can do by being super quick and offering a great candidate experience. And we wanted to be able to cross-sell to other positions. So if the candidate was not suitable for the job they applied for, we wanted to look for other jobs, which we already did, but we were then able to automate it through Charlie. And we also wanted the conversion ratio not to drop, of course. So we wanted it to be at the same level or better between application or hired. So I'm going to take you through some of the results now looking back. So we did a full launch in September, and we did a rollout phase in June, July, August. And we found that 91% of candidates were very satisfied or satisfied with the conversation they had with Scotty, with Charlie. We wanted to be super quick, so when we analyzed the data, building up our case, it was actually 4 days. So it took 4 days between a candidate applying and us being able to do the pre-selection. So calling, trying to get hold of the candidate, and then for us to be able to have that pre-selection interview. We're now down to half a day, and that's average. Actually, a lot of candidates, as soon as they respond to us, we can literally schedule an interview within 5 minutes, if the candidate is ready for that as well. We wanted to reduce ghosting. So actually in 2022, we were at 49% ghosting, meaning candidates who drop out in pre-selection phase because we don't know actually, they didn't respond to us anymore. They ghosted us. We're now down to 21%. We wanted to be able to cross-sell. We can, so we integrated everything into the system, and we're now able to say, okay, so let me give you an example. We're looking for postal cyclists. We all cycle in the Netherlands, right? So postal delivery cyclists. What if someone can't cycle? Well, maybe we can then cross-sell them to another vacancy. Maybe they can deliver packages by car, or they can do other types of jobs with us. So we've cross-sold 18% of candidates. And we're actually at the same percentage of hires compared to 2022. So we didn't drop down on that conversion ratio. So how does Charlie do it? So what you see here is the vacancy website of PostNL in the Netherlands. And you can apply for a job. So you can look for your job, you apply, and all the candidate details go into our system. We use SuccessFactors. And as soon as those details are in the system, we send a trigger to Charlie, to Scotty, and Charlie gets in touch. So straight away, within a minute, you get a WhatsApp from Charlie saying, hey, nice to hear from you, glad you applied, let's go through the process. We're checking a couple of things, see if there's a good fit, a good match with the job. And if there is, we're able to straight away schedule an interview with a recruiter as well. So we've integrated with Outlook Calendar and with Teams. So straight away we can pull a video link, we can pull the availability of the recruiter, schedule a meeting, an interview, and send that back to SuccessFactors. And then the recruiter is ready to take over from there. So the recruiter just goes to their calendar and they can see what types of meetings they have. And the candidate, great, happy. They get a confirmation email straight away to say, here's your interview. It's on that and that date with this person. So that's just to give you a real quick overview of how we set it up. We didn't actually change our process. We made it better. Of course, we tweaked it a little bit here and there. But what we didn't want to do is look at our recruitment process and completely flip it over, because we've got a lot of people working for us, a lot of recruiters, and you want to blend this into your system, right? Into your process. So it's actually an opportunity to speed up the process, but still use the recruiters in the way we did before, by having them do the in-depth interviews. So what we do is we get real-time updates from Charlie on the progress of the candidate's journey. So there's transparency on where we are, at what phase we're in. So when you look up a candidate in the system, you can see straight away, okay, Charlie is in contact attempt number 2. So we know that they didn't reply the first time. We're contacting them again. There's detailed information in the candidate profile. So we add notes into the system around the conversation that we had with the candidate. There are follow-ups, like I mentioned. So if a candidate doesn't reply, we're able to send them an SMS. We're able to phone, reducing candidate dropouts. And also automated mails. So as soon as a status changes, like for example into a video selection, which we do, straight away there's an email going out to the candidate saying this is when you have your interview. So after we launched Charlie, we did what we called a soft launch, and then we rolled it out into more regions within the Netherlands. We also made a couple of tweaks to the system, things that we found along the way that we could improve, because we didn't want to start with the full Monty straight away. We wanted to make it small and kind of grow from there. So we optimized like the agenda planning logic. So how many days can Charlie schedule into a calendar, but also add rejection reasons. So before we would just say, I'm sorry, we can't continue with your application, but we didn't actually tell the candidate why. That was the next step for us. And we also added that information into the system. So if a recruiter were to look it up, they can see, okay, they've been rejected because they can't cycle. Obviously, then you get rejected for a position that requires cycling. But we also added cross-sell job notes or job IDs into the notes. So we have a call center. If a call center needs to follow up on a cross-sell, they're able to do that through the system by just looking up, okay, so they're not suitable for this job, but they are for this, that, and that job, which is like kind of like the presentation you saw this morning. Like it's super quick. Scotty can just pull it out of the system because they know all our vacancies, whereas an actual human recruiter would have to look up the profile, see why they dropped out, and then they look at all the vacancies. Scotty can do that for you. And also we implemented voicemail callback requests to make it a little bit more smooth in the process. So here's how the flow went, the candidate journey. So this was looking at January 2024. We had a total of 6,000 applications, and almost 80% of that is via WhatsApp. You also have an opportunity to switch to phone if you wish. But we find that actually a lot of candidates want to do it through WhatsApp. So of that, we had 73% completed applications and 27% of candidates didn't respond. So 1% quit the process, which is fine, it happens. Actually, 3% was not interested in a cross-sell that we offered, but 5% was. So 11% was not suitable for the job, and with 610 customers, we were not able to schedule an interview. This can be because the applicant doesn't have time in their calendar, but this can also be because we didn't offer enough time slots within the number of days that we're planning interviews in. But we also had 66% scheduled interviews. And that was all automated, which is really cool still, I think. What's also really cool is that a lot of this happens outside of our office hours. So our office hours are from 9 to 5, in which we can plan interviews. And what we see is actually that customers talk to us or candidates talk to us in the middle of the night as well. So what you can see here below is the hours in which they speak to. So you can see that after 12 and actually before 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock is our biggest time slot when candidates talk to us. Before, we were not able to speak to them until 9 o'clock, and now we can speak to them outside of hours. So how do our candidates feel about this? I said it to you before, it was 91% of customers that were very satisfied or satisfied with their experience. It's actually higher than we expected it to be. I'm looking at Luz as well because she co-implemented this with us. And it's actually 55% of customers were very satisfied. So they said it was quick, it was clear, it was easy, quick response, which I think is a really satisfying number to look at. And then our investment and ROI, which is obviously, like I said, not the main reason we started this, but a really cool side effect of what we were able to automate and implement. So looking at the cost of the regular process, so you have a 73% cost reduction. So we were able to save 375 hours of manual labor, of recruiter labor per month, which I think is massive, right? What do you think? That's a big number, right? Also, in additional savings, so this is not something that necessarily happened, well, it happened because we implemented Scotty, but we also had some software we used that we were able to replace with Outlook and Teams, which actually we already used, so that was great. We were using different software. We were able to save another 6,000 euros per month by just making that change. So sometimes it can also be simpler than just implementing this whole journey to make these cost savings by looking at your software and what you use and automating stuff. So what's next for Charlie? So we're actually at the moment pre-screening all of our postal delivery cyclists, and we're obviously cross-selling them to other jobs as well. We want to go to all our operational jobs at some point, which we're working towards. We're also looking at how we can use this in corporate recruitment. So with our head office staff and our management, where we want to do a sort of, an intake form as such. So what are the most likely reasons for corporate candidates to drop out? We want to kind of get through to that straight away before we start an interview phase with a candidate. And also we want to implement FAQs into the system. So what ideally we would like to do is just say to Scotty, okay, so these are all our rules, this is all you need to know, and for them to make a conversation off the back of that into our candidate journey. So if people have questions about onboarding or about how the process works, we want to just, for Charlie to be able to respond to that. So that was a very quick rundown from our case with Scotty. So I'll hand it back over to you.
Thank you very much. Give it a hand up for Paula, please.
Thank you.
Thanks. So what the heck are we? We've been talking a lot about Scotty, but what is it actually? Well, we define ourselves as an interactive AI orchestration platform. Paula already mentioned that we're deeply embedded into all of their systems that she's using. That's where we live. We don't introduce new technology. We put it inside your system of records. We also incorporate your telecom infrastructure. Some of you are recruiting internationally. I spoke to some of you in the morning. We will go on any telecom provider that you're using anywhere in the world. And because of that, we're available on any device through any channel. And there's a huge underlying tech stack. If you want to learn more about that, talk to our CTO. To me, it's like hearing R2D2 talk, but your IT team will love it when they meet him, I promise. We can do pretty much anything a human can do. Pretty much everything, just incredibly more productively, 500,000 conversations at the same time, 24/7 in 140 languages, far less errors, but we also build really strong guardrails around what we do, which keeps you guys safe. And what does this mean in a graph? Well, in a graph, it means we can actually automate pretty much the entire hiring journey, but also what happens afterward. So the HR journey, there's rostering and that sort of stuff. We'd love to show you more about that. But instead of talking about Scotty so much, I would like to introduce the father of Scotty, Reiner Bruns, my co-founder and CTO, and let you have a listen to what this actually sounds like and looks like in practice.
Let's talk to Scotty.
Hello, I'm Scotty, a virtual assistant. Don't worry, you can talk to me as normally as you do with a human. I'm following your application for the Class A CDL driver position. Before we start the screening process, you can ask me anything you want to know about the job or the employer. Do you have any questions about the job right now?
Yes, what's the salary for this role?
The CDL truck driver annual salary for top earners is $94,000 and the average is $73,000. Is there anything else you'd like to know right now?
What can you tell me about the working hours?
The working hours for the CDL Class A driver position in Amsterdam are full-time and defined as regularly working 30-plus hours per week. The driver will be regionally over the road, OTR, during the week and home on the weekends. Is there anything else you'd like to know right now?
Or what would I be transporting?
You would be transporting windows and doors. Is there anything else you'd like to know right now?
No, thanks.
Great, let's start. This job requests ability to perform simple mathematical calculations. Are you able to do that?
Yes, I am.
That's great. How many years of tractor-trailer driving experience do you have?
4 years.
Those 4 years include winter driving experience. If so, how many years?
7 years of winter driving.
It's not possible that you have more winter driving experience than the overall experience years. Please repeat the winter driving experience years you have.
Oh yes, of course. I meant to say 2 years.
Please tell me a bit more about how this experience looked like for you and what cargo you transported.
I used to transport heavy machinery up in Detroit. I really liked it.
Noted. Last question. Do you have a Class A CDL?
No, I don't.
Unfortunately, this is a requirement for this position, so you're not eligible for the call with a recruiter. But your profile is a match for the warehouse associate truck driver. Are you interested in this position?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm glad you're interested. Let's schedule an interview with one of our recruiters. Would you be available on the 19th of April at 9 o'clock?
No, that doesn't work for me.
Please tell me a day and time within the next 5 working days in which a recruiter can contact you to continue with this process.
How about Tuesday, anytime between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m.?
The closest slot is on the 23rd of April at 12 o'clock. Does this work for you?
Yes, that works perfectly.
Okay, great. You'll receive an invite for this appointment with all the details via mail. Have a nice day.
Well, that was the demo.
What do you guys think? Pretty neat, right? So I'm running out of time, so I'll finish up by giving a big shout out to our local partners here, DT Seals, for organizing this fantastic event. They're one of our partners. And Merck IT, who help us implement and can do that in Hungarian as well as many other languages. So we have the resources here to support you at scale. Don't know if this keeps happening. Please do come to us to have a chat about the future of our industry. I want to finish off by going back to how I started. I started with the end of the world. And it's true. The world as we know it is ending. AI is a tool of mass destruction. But it's also a tool of mass creation. And if we work together to not have change happen to us, but actually make it happen, together we can create a world that we all want to live in. Thank you very much.